Flat Stanley, the Great Egyptian Grave Robbery. Chapter 1. A Letter for Stanley. George Lambchop was sitting at the kitchen table going through the mail as his wife cooked breakfast. "Look at these beauties, Harriet," he called, holding up a letter with many exotic stamps in the corner. "From Egypt." Ever since the eldest son, Stanley, had been flattered by a bulletin board and could now travel by the mail, the Lambchop family became keenly interested in stamps. "Just a minute, dear," Mrs. Lambchop said. "I'm just at the difficult part of flipping this French toast." "A letter from Egypt, you say? Why don't you open it and read it to me?" Mr. Lambchop began to do just that, but then he caught himself. That was a close one, he cried. It is a federal offense to open mail that's addressed to someone else. This letter is for Stanley." Just then, both Lambchop boys appeared in the doorway, drawn by the delicious breakfast aroma French toast and bacon. "Stan, there's a letter for you here. Looks important." What about me?" Stanley's younger brother Arthur asked. Any mail for me today?" "Not today, sorry," Mrs. Lambchop replied. But Stanley, why don't you open yours and read it to us over breakfast?" After breakfast," Mrs. Lambchop said firmly, "and hand washing. You know how maple syrup gets all over everything." The boys finished their breakfast and washed up. Then Stanley finally opened his letter. If you are the world-famous flattened boy of America," he read out loud, "and if you are less thick than 3 inches, you must come to Egypt at once. We are beginning the archaeological project and are in urgent need of someone of your dimensions. I don't know about world famous, Arthur grumbled, a bit enviously. It must be said, maybe they've got the wrong person. But I'm only 1/2 inch thick, Stanley sighed. So that's me, all right. Mrs. Lambchop corrected her son. That is I. It's signed by Mr. Abu Shentiwara. The taking of my travel arrangement covered with stamps. George Lamchop took the letter and read it over. No mention of Stanley's family going wrong with him, he said, frowning. I don't know. Well, an archaeological project and travel is broadening. George. Mrs. Lamchop mused. Oh, Stanley. Stanley, darling. I didn't mean it that way. What I meant was it rounds out one's education. Oh my, that didn't come out quite right either. Well, your mother and I have always encouraged you boys to lend a helping and when needed. Mr. Lamchop said, I suppose that goes even if it's needed halfway around the world. We'd better take you to the post office at once, Stanley, Mrs. Lamchop said. I will pack the leftover French toast and bacon for you to eat on the way. No maple syrup, of course. It wouldn't to arrive all sticky. Something to drink? Stanley asked. I think not, dear, his mother told him. Egypt is quite a distance, and I am not afraid you won't be near a bathroom for some time. Which reminds me. And she went off to pack a toothbrush and face cloth for her son's trip. Stanley noticed that Arthur seemed glum. He knew Arthur sometimes found it difficult being the only round brother in the family. Would you like to come? Would you like to bring me back something for you from Egypt? He asked. Arthur replied. If you're going to Egypt, you should bring me some back, Mummy. I don't believe they offer those as souvenirs. And besides, it wouldn't fit in the envelope with Stanley, chuckled the boy's father. Mr. Lamchop was known for his sharp sense of humor. How about a nice postcard? Mr. Lamchop was known for being a particle thinker too. Arthur folded his hands and crossed his chest. A mummy or nothing? Stanley was very sorry to see his brother looking so grumpy as he slid himself to the envelope.